So in the video, guys, what did you see is nice examples of static electricity. It is charging of the plastic or the comb or the tin with negative charges, and then it actually attracts something else. Did you hear, like, when you put on this jersey? Is it the correct word, right? Is it? Yes. So it actually makes like sounds, like crackling sounds. Did you hear that? No. And even in the dark, you can actually see sparks. No. Now that's all part of static electricity. So we are starting today with electrostatics. So electrostatics definition is, sorry, it's the study of charges in rest. Charges in rest. Okay. So we have a few examples. When you use a plastic comb to comb your hair is drawn to the comb. When you take your sweater, you can hear crackling noises. Okay, that's all part of static electricity. Now, guys, in grade 8 and 9, you've learned about something very important, and that is called the atom. Can you remember of what is the atom made of? What is the part of an atom? Can you remember? You can't remember. No. Think about it's the proton. What charge is the proton? Positive. And another thing is the electron. And what is the electron's charge? Negative. And then we have the last one, we have a, yes, neutron, and it's a neutral charge. So guys, to understand electrostatics, we must first have a very good idea about the atom. You can't be confused there. So I'm going to show you the structure of the atom. So let's draw an atom. So again, an atom is proton, electron, and neutron. But it's also, in what orientation is it? An atom consists of a central part. Nee, what's that central part called? A nucleus. Can you remember that? Yes. So it's the central part of the atom, it's the nucleus. And then it consists out of orbitals. So it has orbitals that's around your nucleus. And what is in that orbitals around the nucleus? So that is your energy around your nucleus. So I have the nucleus here. Okay. So what is in the nucleus, guys? It is only protons and neutrons. Okay. So I'm just going to make it a bit bigger. So here is the nucleus. I'm only going to write P and N for protons and neutrons. Now, guys, this is like a jail with big bars. They can't go out here. They can't. Okay, so we will see when we are talking about charges, something becomes positive and something becomes negative. Then you always want to take these protons out there and say it's got more protons. No. The amount of protons your atom has, it's set. The amount of neutrons your atom has, it's set. They are in jail there. They can't go out. But what about the electrons? I'm just going to say that this atom has the two energy levels here. Okay? So on this energy levels, on this orbitals, I find my electrons. Can you remember in my first one, I can only have 2. And then in my second one, I can have 8. So it's actually, you actually put it like 2, 2, 2 together, but it's not what I want to show you now. It's just for interesting sake. Okay. Guys, so this is the electrons. So this is the part of your atom that can be given away or can be, yes. Okay, that's the only thing that can change in your atom. So now we are going to look at charges. So we get 2 types of charges. So I think you know this from grade 9 also. We get a positive charge on an atom and we get a negative charge on an atom. Okay, so now that you know that the protons and neutrons are in jail, they can't go out, but now I suddenly have a positive charge. So how is that possible? How do I get a positive charge, guys? A positive charge is because of the loss of electrons. That's so important. So remember, how do I get a positive charge? The protons must be higher or more, let's make it just like this, bigger than the, yes, that is when I get a positive charge. But do I gain protons? No, I lose electrons. Did you know this, ne? Okay. And then how do I get a negative charge? I must gain electrons. And then what's happening now? The electrons, that's the negative charge, is more than the protons. And this is how we get charges. So, in electrostatics, we will talk about how these charges are actually obtained. Let's see. What is a neutral object? The amount of, yes, yes. Neutral object is amount of protons equals amount of electrons. Guys, in your periodic table, it's not necessary that you write this down. This is actually chemistry. I just want to show you. When I have oxygen, I have an atom number and a mass number. Can you remember that? Now, my atom number was 8 and is 8 and my mass number is 60. Okay. So just a quick revision. What does it represent? Your atom number is the amount of protons in your atom. It's also the amount of electrons in your atom. And it's the correct order, like it's the 8th atom in your periodic table is oxygen. Okay, so your atom number stands for these 3 things. Okay, then your mass number now. Okay, let's just see atom number, mass number. Mass number stands for your number of and that is found in your nucleus. Yes. So guys, you will also see it is in the group 6 of your periodic table. So how many groups do we get in chemistry or in your periodic table? 8 groups, nee. Okay? So all of your atoms actually wants to be in the 8th group. Why? Because it has a full valence shell. There's no open spaces for electrons to come in or be gained. So now, what is the charge that oxygen will have? Oxygen will always have a 2 minus. It will gain 2 electrons to have 8 electrons. That is a perfect valence shell. So I just want you guys to know that some of the materials will gain electrons. Some of the materials will lose electrons, and that depends on the type of material. Like in chemistry, oxygen will always gain because he's so close to the 8th group that he won't give 6 off. He won't lose 6. He will rather gain 2. Okay, but we will come there in chemistry. I just want you guys to understand that not all of your materials will lose electrons. Some of your materials will gain. Okay, so in electrostatics, how is the object charged? How is a charge obtained? The charge is obtained by, so important, friction. Charge is obtained by friction. So what did we see in the video before? It was the friction between your two objects, nee? Your plastic and your wool, or your plastic and your, what was the other thing? He was the cotton or anything. Okay, so that is caused by friction. So what happens with friction? Electrons are physically removed from one object and gained by another object. Okay, it's physically rubbed off. Okay. Friction. Can you please turn your page to page 83? Then we will see you have a triboelectrical series there. Now that's all the substances you have that can be rubbed together. Okay, so we talk about triboelectrical charge. Now that's a fancy word for only stating the tribo only means to rub. Okay, so we have definition: triboelectrical charge. And that word only stands for rub. So this electrical charge is gained with rubbing. Okay. Now guys, now you ask, how do I know if the wool will be positive and the plastic be negative, or the steel will take your electrons and the wool will gain the electrons? How do I know that? That is where you look at your graph there, or this the series there, the table there. Can you see? Triboelectrical series. So now I tell you, I rub a steel bar with a wool cloth. Now I see. Okay, you go and look at your table there. Can you see the steel? The steel is in the middle, né? With wool. So the wool is on top, né? It's above the steel. So the wool is a strong positive liking to be charged. So the wool will be positive charged and the steel will be negative charged. Okay. Does it make sense? Okay. So what happens if I ask you to explain the procedure for me? So I rub the wool cloth with the steel bar. Okay. So what happens? Electrons are transferred from your cloth to your steel bar. Now I'm sitting with two different charges. I have a negative charge steel bar and a positive charge cloth. And now with that steel bar, it's able to actually like make your hair goes up, or the videos, examples of the papers, okay, of all the confetti that it will attract. I think you know this also already. We get forces between your charges, name. And you know this, forces between your charges. So if I have the same charges, what will happen? The like charges. So it may be a positive and a positive. What will happen? Repel each other. So always. Okay. And then opposite charges, what happens? Attraction. You will see when you get married one day, you will marry someone the opposite as you. I don't know why. It's just attractive. I don't know. Okay, so opposite charges attract. Okay, you will never. If I ask you to draw it for me, like maybe in a test, you write positive and then can write it like that, positive, to show it's pushing away, and positive, negative is attracting. Okay.